What's going on, people? CP3 live from the lab, coming to you at an unexpected time on an unexpected day. Normally, I have my weekly presser show around 5 o'clock. Won't be having that today. Unfortunately, got a lot of stuff going on. Haven't had a chance to chop up the video and put it together. But I was a guest on the Not Bland show on Wednesday, and we talked about the first 5 weeks of the season, talked about the coaches, the defensive coordinator, some of the players, and just broke down our overall thoughts on this team and the upcoming matchup versus Atlanta. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. It was about a 30-minute segment. We covered a lot of good topics. Started out with a little technical difficulties. I didn't chop it up, so you're going to see my mic not working. Come back on after it goes off. Any thoughts, any questions, comments, I'll come back to it. But enjoy. Make sure you go follow Dejanay's page on YouTube, Not Bland Show. Go subscribe. This is his third episode. He's just getting it up and running with a new brand. He's a steady contributor to Sports on the Hill podcast. We love all the insight he brings. He also covers NHRA racing and a whole host of other things. He has a lot of great guests and folks to come on and drop knowledge just like we do on Sports on the Hill podcast. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and let this video ride. Some of y'all on the lunch break, or you can check it out later on, because I'll definitely be sharing it to some of the groups. I'll be sharing it to the Sports OTHP page. And as always, don't forget to tune in before and after every game for the Sports OTHP breakdown, hosted by myself, fully interactive, comment. Let me know your thoughts, questions, comments, anything. So without further ado, I will get to our Commanders talk.
We're going to talk Commanders, and I'm going to bring on my brother, man. We'll let him get that together. We'll bring him back in. Commanders, what we looked at earlier here. Really, what an ugly Thursday where defense, once again, doesn't show up and does not produce. Not the stench. Offensively, not very good. But I'll go to the Jets. And the Jets offense was doing very well, especially that second half of the Tennessee game. Yet they were still in it. And their defense held Tennessee 23-7. At some point, your defense has to be something. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. A little technical difficulty.
That'll work. And we had a technical difficulty show. It started out with my computer wanting to update itself on its own without asking me.
Been there, done that.
You know, so here we are with that nonsense. And then we've had technical difficulties all night. That's what happens with a live show, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what happens. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. My man, John Hosville, man, I appreciate you tuning in. And, man, the support is great. The support's been great from everyone. And we'll get right to it. That Thursday night game was frustrating to watch. And I have, as a reporter, I have never been this mad ever. I was heated with the things that I was seeing. And us being defensive guys, that was the most frustrating thing to watch on Thursday night. Did anybody watch tape? Did Jack watch tape?
All I'm gonna say is, you see this bottle? It wasn't open before Thursday night. That's what they put me through. Cause like you say, as a football, I consider myself a student of the game, someone that's coached defense, someone that played defense. For the first time in my years, in my 30 plus years of being around football, I actually had no idea what the hell they were doing.
Me neither.
I went back and looked at the game, I think 3 times now. And with Del Rio, with his deciding to blitz, the only send 4, okay, you want to help out the secondary and leave some in coverage, and you want to try to keep disciplined rush to keep Justin Fields in the pocket, but then you're not sending anybody or spying anybody and giving him free reign to make a sandwich, to get his hair braided, get it twisted, to roll up a doobie, to crack a Red Bull, and then throw the ball to DJ Moore for 230 yards.
Wide open.
So I don't understand the thought process behind it. With EB, 51 passes, 10 rushes, and 4 of those rushes were by your quarterback. You have a starting running back that has 18 starts, and 10 of those starts, he has over 15 carries, and you're 7-2 in one of those games, and you're not running the ball. First 2 weeks of the season, we saw 7 to 10 screens. We're hearing screens are going to be a vital part of the offense to help, get the ball out of Sam's hands and, help the offensive line out. Last 4 weeks, we've seen 3 screens.
Yeah, and I thought the game before, I believe that was the Eagles game. I thought we would have saw more screens to take advantage of that rush, because they like to come upfield. And the way to stop them guys from trying to bum rush upfield is to hit them with a couple of screens, and they'll start thinking a little bit. I will say this about the offense. They were down 27 points before they could blink, and I don't think they had not 1 point yet. Kind of put the offense in a bind. And now, that doesn't mean I agree with them not running the football. At this point, it really doesn't matter. You're trying to do whatever you can to get the ball down the field. But this offense, for the most part, has done an excellent job. It's Jack. And my question to you is it time for a coaching change?
All right. To the first part of that, to your statement, yes, they've been able to move the ball. And unfortunately, it's been times when we've been behind, so they've had to throw the ball. So it looks, and the numbers are good. It looks good that Sam is progressing. But I want to dissect that a little bit more, because I was just breaking down the stats for Atlanta upcoming game, and I'm looking at it. Our teams are similar. Both have second-year quarterbacks trying to find their way. Offensive line could be good if they utilize it the correct way, which Atlanta is doing. They're running the ball. Their running back and Brian Robinson have the same amount of carries. Bijan Robinson has a 5.4 yard average. B-Rob has a 4-yard average, but B-Rob has 3 touchdowns. He has 1 receiving touchdown.
Right.
But the difference is there are other players getting the ball rushing also. They are run-first team. I'm looking at their stats, and there's nothing that jumps off the board at you, but they're solid defensively. They aren't ranked lower than 15th in any defensive category.
Exactly.
So if they use the strategy of running the ball, strong defense, and letting your young quarterback use play action off of the run to not make mistakes and hit his checkdowns, you will be 3-2.
Yep.
You throw the ball 50 times and run it 10, your defense is miscommunicated because they aren't working as a unit, because there's some disconnect with the coordinator and what's going on the field. I don't understand. And then to answer the question about Del Rio, I've actually had to admit I was wrong when it comes to Del Rio, because at the beginning, because stats-wise, 2 out of 3 years being top 5, injuries happen, things happen, offense been inconsistent, you had an inconsistent play caller. So I've been giving him grace. I've been saying until he gets the pieces that he said he needs, which he said he has now, he would be ready to rock and roll, and we'd get that crazy, deceptive, hybrid, havoc-wreaking defense.
Yeah.
All I saw was a bunch of people looking confused and not rushing the quarterback, and the quarterback that is notorious that gave up a 28-7 lead the week before to a team that we had to come back and score from 21 to 3 down to beat. Went out there and looked like he's back in college and throwing the ball around like it's nothing.
Exactly.
So,
And
yeah,
again,
I'm wondering, man. It might be time for him to go because I think he might have done all he can do. He might have gotten into this level, but there's nothing else that he can take it to that next level to get them to the elite defense that we need them to be.
right. I'll go and say just this right here. I think the game has passed him by. He used to be the guy, the czar of the playbook when it came. When you talked about defensive coordinators, it was Jack Del Rio, it was Greg Williams. Those were the guys that would scheme up stuff, do exotic things. Don't tell me you're trying to help a guy out because you're not in Forbes. The way you help a guy in Forbes be able to play his game is by making sure that by any means necessary, you're getting immediate pressure and not allowing the quarterback to have 6 to 7 to 8 seconds. That's where the secondary is getting gutted at. They're getting murdered because there's too much time. And then he doesn't understand his linebackers because I'm sorry, I love Cody Barton, makes great tackles, but he couldn't cover his crank if his life depended on it. So why do you have this man out here trying to cover tight ends and wide receivers? It's disgusting and it's ridiculous and it's absolutely defensive malpractice. Like, I'm tired of seeing this nonsense. And for Ron Rivera to say that there's no reason and we're, 5 games in, look, man, we've seen this story and this book been written 3 times over. Okay? So it's time to do something now. And if you don't, that tells me that that loyalty is going to get you going down with the ship. And he looked like he's ready to just ride it out and go down with the ship because of loyalty. I'm sorry. When I'm trying to win, which he said he was trying to do, remember that? I'm going to win the division. And really, I shouldn't win the division, but I'm going to win the division because we're about winning. And now all of a sudden, it's not about winning. We got some things we going to work. Nah, this defense been together and he been here long enough. There's only a few other pieces that need to learn. Okay, so what are we doing here? Running the same basic vanilla high school, I don't want to say high school, middle school defense. Every coordinator on offense knows exactly what they're going to do because they know exactly where all the big pieces are going to be, and they know exactly what they're going to run. It's been the same thing for 5 weeks.
Well, with the Forbes situation, I'm waiting for someone to bring it up, but no one is. The kid has been dependent on his athletic ability. I don't watch college football, but I do go back and watch tape. And with him being more dependent on his athletic ability, his fundamentals, his footwork are not where they need to be. And these offensive coordinators and these wide receivers study tape.
Yep.
And they know his tendencies. And every time he gets beat, it's on the double move because they know he's anxious and he wants to go for the ball and he's not trusting his technique and staying with what he's supposed to do because he's a gambler. This is where I'm upset about Del Rio is this is what he should have been learning in training camp.
Yes.
This is where coaching comes in. And the fact that he's still making these same mistakes and they're hoping he catches on, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a Boys and Girls Club defensive coordinator, and I can go out there and tell him what he's doing wrong just by watching him on the game. If they're watching him in practice every day, why isn't someone addressing these things? That's why he's getting beat. As when you watch the tape, he can play ball, but he relies on his instincts and his athletic ability more than his technique. He needs to go in the lab and perfect his craft. That's what he needs to do. That's going to be the number one thing for him, and that's what Del Rio needs to be there to have his cornerbacks coach working with him day in, day out and he's still going to get reps, but you know he needs work. And
Right.
now with Forrest and Reeves out, it's really going to be imperative that everybody does their job and is on point when they're out there. So I started scratching my head against Philly when he kept lining up Forbes on AJ Brown, when last year when St. Juice was up on him, he shut him down.
Yeah. And we
But for
saw
some
that once
reason-
St. Juice got put over there, it was
Yeah,
a different ball game.
and that's what I'm trying to understand. I'm starting to get Jay Gruden-esque vibes, man. I'm starting to get Jay Gruden-esque vibes a little bit from EB, from going away from what works and saying what he was going to do and not doing it, because the screen game is very vital. When we've used it, it's been successful.
Yeah.
And like you say, it mitigates the defense being so, because that's what they're doing. They want the young quarterback to beat them. So they're putting 8 in the box and putting run fits to stop the run, which frustrates EB, i.e. Jay Gruden Jr., that if he's not getting 5-6 yards a pop, we got to throw the ball to open it up. No, you got to let them boys run block, because our offensive line is learning a new offense. They haven't worked together yet. They're being exploited because teams know that. And how do you help an offensive line? You run the ball. I'm going to say this again. This is my first time on your show. I've said it on my show. I don't know how many times. For the people that don't know, offensive lineman, run blocking is an offensive lineman's friend. Pass blocking is not, because when they go to pass block, as soon as they hike the ball, they have to take a step back in a retreat position. The defensive man gets to go forward and have the momentum, so it's much harder to pass block. When you're run blocking, you're pushing off, enforcing your will on the defensive men, which i.e. wears them down. So in the fourth quarter, you will get those 7, 8, 15-yard runs because the team is gassed. We've seen it happen to our defense for how many freaking years?
Exactly.
Why is it that they can't go look at the tape and say, well, hey, it works against us? Why don't we try it? I don't know if it's the weed out there, if it's the food out there, if it's the bar being too close to the facility out there, but I'm getting close. I was supposed to go out there last night, but I fell asleep, and Coach Rivera was doing his interview. God must have kept me from there, because I still wasn't in the right state of mind. They might have had to take me out of there because I might have said some things that might not have been too polite. But
it's facts.
Yes, it's frustrating as a fan. It's frustrating as someone in the media. It is frustrating as someone that loves and studies football.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
What adds to it is these DC sports media folks don't know how to ask questions about football. So I'm sitting there yelling at the screen at the press conference, like, "Can somebody ask something about football, not about the uniforms of Josh Harris drinking beers with the crowd?"
Yeah,
Please.
They won't be. It's TikTok for them. It's TikTok for them. They won't be around here long. Now, when we look to this Falcons game, and I've said this about the Falcons, very sound on offense. We talked about that earlier, but I don't think people give their defense a lot of credit. They in a game against a quarterback in CJ Stroud that is having a career year so far, no interceptions, didn't have any interceptions in that game. They really lit people up, especially late in the quarters, third and fourth quarter, that second half. They really start to get going. The Atlanta Falcons were able to slow that run game down and basically almost made it anemic.
Yeah, I'm looking at their numbers right now. They're 5th against total yards, giving up 306. They have 7th in passing, only giving up 190. They're 15th, only giving up 104 yards rushing. And they're 10th, only giving up 19 points a game. And the problem for the Commanders, they're 5th in third down conversions. They're giving up only 32%.
Yes.
So this game is definitely going to come down to who sticks to the run the longest. And we've seen Atlanta do it. Right. They have a stud rookie running back. They have a coordinator that's patient, that doesn't mind getting 3-4 yards, to start the game out and then open things up and let your players, get warmed up and get in the flow. And like you say, they have a quality defense that gets better throwing the game because they're running the ball and winning the time of possession battle. Yeah. So they're doing all the things that the Commanders need to do. The question is, can the Commanders do it? We've seen Atlanta do it. But if the Commanders don't do it, let's just say when I'm on FanDuel this week, there won't be any pro Commanders picks to be made this week. I'll let you know that.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Man, you saw the Diami Brown joint.
Yes.
I made that bet. It was 11,000 odds. I put down $10 to win 200. He dropped 2 touchdowns.
It was wild. What was going on in that game. And they can't have these drops. You know what I want to see in this game, though, that has been very effective this year, and it's been very quiet. It's Curtis Samuel. The way they have been using him with the quick end-around type of handoffs, the innovativeness in using his skill, I've actually deemed him the Swiss Army knife now of this offense. I need to see more of that, because when that happens, then you start seeing one-on-ones for Terry. You start seeing one-on-ones for Jahan. You start seeing open lanes for Logan Thomas to catch balls. And most importantly, and I said this in my show 2 or 3 weeks ago, Brian Robinson is a volume carrier. The more he gets the ball, the stronger he gets. And him saying he feels like himself, it has been showing. Guy's been running over people, bullying over people. But they have to run the ball. And we've talked what you just said about the offensive line, and that we've been talking about that for years with this team. And it applies for everyone. But I feel like if they want to get things going, they've done things with Gibson, but they have to get Curtis Samuel involved.
I agree with them forcing the ball to Terry early. I get it. You know, he got his contract. He's a game-changing wide receiver, but what are you really accomplishing by doing that?
3 and outs.
Exactly. So, like when we started in the beginning, he was mixing the ball up. He was getting the ball to 7, 8 different receivers. He might not have had a lot of yards, but completion percentage was high. He was getting the ball out. He wasn't getting sacks. We see the issue now. You know, a lot of folks want to blame the offensive line. I got to get on my podium again real quick, because I'm tired of hearing the same people complaining, talking about the offensive line. Like I said, I'm not a Ron Rivera hater. I'm always been somebody in this corner. But when people start talking out their butt, I got to call it. The offensive line, I'm going to say this again. It's the first time on your show. I've said it on my show dozens of times. They were rated top 10 for 2 out of the 4 years he's been here. Injuries decimated the line. Nobody expected Chase Rouillet and 5. We went through 5 centers in one season.
We did. Yeah,
so it's no way.
5.
Yeah, and he's been drafting players. They've been developing. Cosme, draft him as a tackle. He's at guard, haven't given up 1 sack, top rated in the league right now.
Right.
But Leno, the other guys, okay, it's a work in progress. But to say that the line sucks, and then I keep on asking these football folks, if the line is so bad, how is Sam Howell holding the ball too long?
Exactly, because he wouldn't have time to hold the ball too long, because he'd be on the ground already.
Exactly. So they have to do some run blocking if he's holding the ball too long. So that's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. You can't hold the ball too long, and the line sucks. Obviously, they're holding their blocks. It's just that he's not hitting his read sometimes. He's not trusting what he sees, or he's afraid because he has thrown the ball late, not trusting it, and turned into a crucial interception.
That was important.
Exactly.
That was important.
He's learning,
throwing it late.
And that's the one thing you can't do.
No. And we saw it get picked off. The pick that he had over the middle, it was because it was late. It wasn't because it wasn't the right read. He was late. And the defender already saw it. He was looking right at it and read it and took it. And that's really been the problem. I don't think the O-line is as bad as people are making it out to be. I think it's the growing pains between a young quarterback trying to find his way, trying to have that clock go off in his head, because he's a guy that's not a run-first guy. He wants to throw it down the field. He wants to extend it and make a play. But sometimes you just have to take what they're giving you. You have to get out of that pocket and get out of there and go and get some yards, do something, or throw it to your check down. And he's learning and going through that process, and sometimes that process gets delayed. So that's just growing pains. But I don't think this offensive line is as bad as people make it out to be.
That's what you call speed of the game.
Yep.
he's used to when he was in college. You have that extra second to make that read, to stay on that man just a second longer to see if he can get that separation you want.
Right.
NFL, you ain't got that.
Nope.
It's that if it's not there, go. If it's not there, go. If it's not there, get rid of it. If it's not there, break the pocket, or don't get intentional ground when you throw it away.
Yeah.
And he's still learning that. So that's why I'm not really frustrated at him. My frustration with him is sometimes you just got to throw it away. Sometimes you just got to tuck it. He's been taking too many hits. He's not that big.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not afraid of if Brissett come in. I'm not.
But I don't want to see him.
Yeah, I was calling for him in the 4 interception game. After the third one, I was like, nothing else good is going to come from him being out there. Let's see what Jacoby can do. Not saying he's going to spark and come back, but let's see what he can do. We pay for him to be a backup. Let's see what he can do.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a delicate mix between him developing, getting time on the field, and being detriment to the team. I mean, detriment to, the plans of the team trying to move forward and growing pains and such. But I don't see no reason to pull him down. I just say a more balanced game plan and a better strategy. And like you say, mixing in Curtis Samuel, that's when the offense was effective. When you had, even if you're not getting the ball, just the misdirection to keep them off balance.
Exactly.
Because they know that they're learning. They know that they don't know that, and they know it's an intricate offense because he used to run it in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they're using that against us. And EB being in his mode of trying to, I guess, prove a point or show who he is, isn't, in my opinion, using his best football logic when he's calling plays sometimes.
I agree. I think sometimes he's kind of gotten ahead of himself a little bit. And like I said, in that Bears game, I give him a little bit of grace for the simple fact they were down by so much. But again, like you said, we don't want to see him throwing it 40, 50 times a game. That's not a recipe for success. So it's in Atlanta, 1:00 start. Who do you got winning this game?
Oh, I didn't know it was in Atlanta. I thought it was home.
No, it's in the ATL.
That actually changes my thought process a little bit. When home, I don't know. When they're on the road, most teams when they're on the road, they're more focused because you spending all the time together with the teammates. You're in the hotel together, and you're more focused and more, not worrying about tickets, not worrying about this, not worried about that. So, yes, I'm thinking that's going to play in their favor. Can't believe I'm going to probably say this. I've never had to go against my squad, but after that game on Thursday, I don't even have the confidence to give them a win. If they win, I will be pleasantly surprised. If they lose and we see what we saw on Thursday, it's time to the next day it's time to somebody getting their pink slip. If they put up a so-called good fight, it depends on how the game plays out, how I feel. If they come out effortless like that, then it's time to somebody got to get their head chopped off by Monday. But I'm going to say it's going to be a close one. Last year we beat them with Brian Robinson, so I'm hoping they're watching the tape from last year. If they do that, then they can pull it off, but I'm going to have to go with the Robbie G logic and go against them and hope they win. I'm going to go with Atlanta in a close one. I'm going to just throw a little flair out there. Ritter gets hurt for a quarter, and Heineke comes in and throws for a touchdown, and Commanders Nation goes in an uproar and splits in the middle about, we should have kept Heineke. And you're going to go burn down FedEx Field.
I can see that. I definitely can see that.
But I think it's going to be a close game. But I think with the recipe that Atlanta's been using and sticking with it and being consistent, I think that's what's going to be the feather in their cap. And with the inconsistency we've seen with this team, I hate to do it, to actually go on record and go against my squad. But I think Atlanta being at home, they're going to edge it out, maybe be a 3-point game. I don't get into points and all that. I'm not going to go that far. But I think it's going to be a close game. But because Atlanta's defense is focused and the way they know how to run the ball and stick to it, I think that's going to be the determining factor, unless we see a 180 from this Commanders team.
Right. I think I was going to go 20-17, 2017 Falcons. If we see what we saw against the Eagles, Broncos, then this team could easily put up 28 points, and it could be a 28-17 ball game. I don't think the Falcons will lay down, but I really do, like you said, with what we've seen on Thursday night, what the expressions I saw on the sideline from the defensive players, in listening to the press conferences and guys not wanting to throw the coach under the bus, but if you read between the lines, you can kind of understand how they feel about what's going on out here on the field. Um, I don't know if I can have confidence in that defense coming out and doing what's necessary because I don't have confidence in Jack. And I think that's where the debilitating that's where their Achilles heel is right now. They were supposed to be the pride and the guys to prop up the offense. They haven't done that yet. So yeah, 20-17 Falcons for me. I hate to do that, but maybe they turn it around. They have to. If they don't, to me, somebody should have been on a plane. Jack should have been on the plane to his house in Destin, Florida, on the last game after the Bears game. But if it doesn't produce this time and the defense looks the way it did the past 5 weeks, he got to go.
I'm hoping we see the defense we saw in Denver with the 7 sacks on Russell.
Yes, because they have the talent to be able to do so.
Definitely, he had a good game plan there. They were sending folks. They was coming from different spots. I actually gave them applause after that game for the game plan and the strategy. They was doing stunts. They was doing twists. They had some zone blitzes. They was mixing things up. They weren't playing too far off. They was mixing man and zone, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. I was like, okay, we're in the right direction. And then he must have went and hit that crystal meth or something when watched when some of that stuff we don't know about that that might be coming out because he had been looking a little wild out there. And I don't know. The indictments came down. Maybe it hit him a little hard. I don't know. Maybe once Trump had his first rally, maybe he'd shake out of it or something. I don't know, bro. I like I said, it's the first time in my whole football knowing life that I was sitting there watching it and just numb and not knowing how to feel or what was going on. I felt like a typical fan right there because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it. I was just sitting there taking shots, bro.
Yeah, me too. It's unbelievable to watch. Let everybody know where they can find your work and where they can follow you guys at.
Oh boy, right now I'm taking a slight hiatus, but Sports on the Hill is still going strong. Robbie G's running it on Monday nights. You can check out the show on check out the website sportsothp.com. You can check out Robbie's page or Sports OTHP on Facebook or Robbie Gross on Facebook. He streams it live. I go live with the pregame and postgame show for every Commanders game on my YouTube channel.
Great stuff too. Great stuff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we actually had an hour and a half post game after that.
It was very good though. Very good stuff, man.
I appreciate it. You can check out my YouTube channel. Just hashtag CP3 with 3 eyes. All of my info will come up. My blogs, my YouTube channel, my websites, my pages. Also check out my business page for Carol Porter, the New York Life agent. I'm now a financial planner, so anyone need any financial services and the life insurance, long-term disability, long-term care, annuities, if you're about to retire, children's college funds, hit me up, sit down, have a conversation. I want to help divorce you from dependency on your income.
Helping people and players alike.
Yes, sir. It's getting there, baby. I got something to talk to you offline about, man. I'm gonna hit you up because God is good, baby. God is good.
Yes, sir. You've been working hard though, and you deserve it, man.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Love the new show, man. Glad you got it back up and running. Congratulations. I see you got everything, got the fancy graphics and the stuff. So I'm glad we rubbed off on you a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see, you rubbed off on me in the beginning, helping me get my writing and stuff and get my foot in the door with the sports media. So I'm glad that we're able to contribute something to your brand and what you've been doing for so long to help inspire me, man. So it's always good to see you. When you let me know when you're going to be back up in Richmond, we can at least link up.
Absolutely. We got to do it.
Yeah, I got some business down there working. So just let me know, man. I'm flexible. My job, I work from wherever I want to. So we got to link up, brother, man. But have a good rest of the show and appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Later.
That's Carol Porter, ladies and gentlemen. He does excellent work over there, man. Excellent work. Him, Robbie. I'm on there.
All right. Appreciate the shout out from my man Dujane. Doing great work. Check them out, sportsjourney.com, giving all types of sports coverage, football, NHRA racing, streaming live. Go follow his YouTube channel. You can go search the Not Bland Show to come up. Go subscribe, streaming live. Make sure you tune in Sunday for our pregame show around 10:30 Sunday morning. I'll be breaking down the matchup, talking some more about this team and the upcoming matchup with Atlanta. And as always, giving my keys to victory. Hopefully, we can pull one out. But as you heard my prediction, I'm not really optimistic about this game, seeing what we saw Thursday. And yeah, I'll break it down. I'm gonna check out the rest of the info coming up this week before the game. Make sure you check out Sports OTHP every Monday around 9 with Robbie G and a roundtable covering everything. Baseball playoffs, basketball season's about to start, hockey season's kicking off. Capitals play tonight at 7:30, streaming live on ESPN Plus and Hulu. So I just had to go order a streaming service so I can make sure I can catch my Caps tonight, kicking off the season. Obi going for, the most goals ever record, chasing the great Wayne Gretzky. So another good season of Capitals hockey about to come down. So if the Commanders do start to fall off, at least we got the Capitals in the hockey season to, make us feel a little bit better. You got the baseball championship series about to start. You got Arizona going against Philly. I guess you already know I'm rooting for Arizona, being that they have 3 ex-nationals on the Phillies team and they playing well. Arizona swept the Dodgers, which caught everyone by surprise. No, it caught me by surprise, but I was happy to see the Dodgers put out. So I'm sure they're going to break that down Monday night also. Be sure to tune in. Go subscribe. Go like us. Like I say, we out here trying to bring you real sports journalism, real sports knowledge, real insight into the game, and bring you the best sports coverage around. Appreciate you tuning in. Shared it to some groups already. Got some views. Got some people that are interested. Feel free to follow us because this is what we do. This is what we love. And that's why we do it, for people that want real sports information, not just some clickbait or anonymous source BS. I got a meeting at 2 o'clock, so let me get out of here. Check y'all later. CP3 live from the lab. Sports OTHP. DC Sports About the Politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do.